Many Americans think they are not going to get a disability until sadly they do. The fact is, 1 in 4 of us will go through a disability in their lifetime, and this is just reality. Is there a solution? Well, yes, it's called disability insurance. But why are so many employees opting out? A conversation well worth your time right here on UBS Trending. Hi, everybody, and welcome to UBS Trending. I'm Anthony Pastore. Ainsley Carbone and Andrea Rothberg are here in the studio with me to break down the latest on disability insurance, which I think a lot of folks, as I mentioned in the open, might just kind of skip by. But it is a staggering statistic that 25% of Americans in their lifetime will suffer from some form of disability. So, Ainsley, why should people be taking action now and having this conversation and listening to us talk about it?
So I think it's most important to take action right now because we are coming up on open enrollment season. So open enrollment season is the time when you're able to make changes to your workplace benefits. So you can review them, make changes, and just select what you had the prior year if you'd like to. But the catch is that it only lasts a couple of weeks. So it's really important to just make sure you're reviewing it in advance. Otherwise, you may miss out on a full year's worth of not having those benefits. Right.
And we put that chart up there that showed that statistic that we were just talking about. And that's basically the probability of death and disability, the two columns, before retirement for workers who reach 20 years old in 2020. So we're talking about people who are young right now and what their statistic shows and their likelihood. So does everybody need disability insurance? I almost feel like I know the answer to this by knowing what the statistics are.
So I want to say that we don't want to say everyone absolutely needs it.
Right. There's no solid answer here.
Exactly. At the very least, I mean, so many people go to look at their benefits and they say, oh, no, I'm never going to get sick or injured. I don't need disability insurance. But if you look at that statistic, 1 in 4 of those who are turning 20 this year are going to have a disability at some point. And so at the very least, it's really important to make sure that everyone is at least looking at their benefits because of the fact that these benefits can come at little to no cost to you.
Right.
And so if you don't take that chance and take a look at it, you may be missing out on an opportunity if you were to become disabled and then not have that insurance.
Right, exactly. So Andrea, one of the things that we talk about because of open enrollment is many of us have an option for disability insurance through our employer. So UBS provides disability insurance if we opt into it. But is that enough? Do we need to go out and get additional?
Right. Well, let me talk a little bit because I think a lot of what happens is people in their minds play out different scenarios. And often what people do a lot is what happens if I have an accident or an illness and I die? But people don't often play out what happens if I have an accident or an illness and I live. And that's really what you need to do. And I think there are a couple of factors to look at. One is that what you get from your firm is not portable. So if you retire or if you go to another, switch jobs, or if you lose your job, it's gone, right? That's number one. Number two is always a question, is it enough, right? Is it enough, right? Depending upon your family situation. Do you own a home? Are you married or single? Do you have children? So it's important to look at the benefit that is offered by your firm and see, is it enough?
Because open enrollment is now. So and I think I'm alluding to what you're just saying here, Andrea. I may have an option, but I might as well just pick it, especially if it's through my employer and it's at a pre-tax fee and it's usually very inexpensive. It seems like the logical thing to just check the box.
Yes, definitely. But I think it's important to note that it's more of a building block. It's not necessarily the only type of disability insurance you need. And the third point that I think is important to make as to why it might not be enough is because of the fact that every policy is going to define disability differently. Some of them are going to say that you're disabled and will pay you your income if you can't do any job. So if you get sick or injured and you're able to do some job, they might not pay you your benefits. Whereas other policies are going to say, oh, if you can't do your specific job, we'll pay you your income, even though you might be able to do something else. And that's something that we might typically see for someone who, let's say, is a surgeon. So when I talk about the more broad, I guess, definition of a disability where someone has to not be able to do any job, that's typically what we see with a group policy. But if you're looking for something that has a more generous definition of a disability, then that's when you might want to consider looking at an individual policy.
Right. One of our colleagues, her husband is a musician, a piano player, and he had to get insurance so just in case something happened where he might have just simply fallen on the ground and hurt his hand, he can't play, and that's how he makes his living to support the family. So there's all different reasons why you might want to have additional disability insurance. And like you said, Ainsley, if he was working for an employer, they may not consider that enough to provide that insurance coverage.
Right. It has to be your job, not just any job.
Right.
You know, you take a look at a law firm and you're saying, okay, I'm a litigator, I go into court. That's your job, right? Any job, they could say, well, you could be the receptionist at the law firm and, you know, you just answer the phones and welcome people in. So you have to be careful, your job versus any job.
Right, so then you have to, the next step is, well, how much do I need? So how do you determine what that is?
Right. Well, you know, you can work with your financial advisor on that. So the first thing is to look at your particular family situation and to what do you need? What do you need to pay your mortgage, educate your children, take care of your spouse, and so on, right? And then figure out what it is we offer, which is at very low cost. Work with your advisor to figure in the gap. What's the gap there? What do you need to make up, right? And then supplement. Take the low cost that the firm offers, add what additional benefits you may need, and then come to a total and cover your need.
Right. And open enrollment is a short time frame. So start doing it sooner in case you have questions, and you can go to the right people before you have to be at the end of the deadline and make the wrong choice.
Yeah, so you don't want to miss out on these benefits for a full year because you never know, I guess, what's going to happen.
That's right.
And if you're looking for some information to help get you started, we do have a 4-point checklist that can walk you through not just the disability benefits, but your other benefits as well. And you can find that by going to ubs.com/benefits insights.
Great, and we flashed a little screen up there that just kind of gave the 4 categories, but it's a great checklist where you can literally go through each step to determine what your needs are from an individual perspective, because everybody's situation is different. And as you said, Ainsley, in the beginning, not all insurance policies are created equal, so do your homework if you're going to go outside of what your employer offers you. Thank you both for being here. By the way, we did another show, another trending on life insurance, which similarly, it's another kind of conversation where you have to determine what your needs are. So for our audience, make sure to check out that UBS Trending where we talked about life insurance with Ainsley and Andrea. But thank you again both for being here. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Great, terrific. And as Ainsley said, visit that website, ubs.com/benefits insights for that 4-point checklist and other step-by-step instructions as you're making your choices during open enrollment. And for more information from UBS more broadly and from CIO, visit ubs.com/views. Plus, you can follow us on social media, particularly our Instagram channel, which is dedicated to this series at UBS Trending, content you won't find anywhere else. And as always, if you have questions about what we spoke about today, make sure you're talking to your financial advisor. Until next time, I'm Anthony Pastore. Have a great day, everyone, and remember to keep your eyes on what's trending. Thanks. See you soon.